So for the Think Like a Founder project, the process that we went through were first defining our problems. So we came up with about 20 problems that were of a different range, and we wanted to sort of see which ones related to us the most so we could create really authentic problem statements. Afterwards, we decided to choose our top three out of the 20. And so these are the top three and their pain points. So for the PC building problem, we were thinking of doing something where you had an app that could help you build a PC, and it would contain a lot of information that would help you fix like time consuming constraints. It's very costly and there's an overwhelming amount of info online, so it helps streamline that. We also are thinking of a natural hair care app idea. So something that would kind of streamline the process of figuring out how to take care of your hair, because it's very difficult to care for curly hair and natural hair. I don't know if you can see myself. I have quite the frizzy fluff going on with my curly hair. And it's been difficult to figure out what products I want to use, especially since I just started my natural hair care journey. And so I know if I had this app, it'd be very helpful. But the products are very expensive and it's very hard to find and kind of sift through all the information online, similar to the PC building one. Our last idea was a small business idea. It's very difficult to locate small businesses, and there's so many of them in cities, especially Philadelphia. It's very hard to reach businesses unless you already know them or through word of mouth. So those are our three ideas that we had. Afterwards, our validation and ideation team member, Hayden, had helped us kind of go through these ideas and really hone in on what we wanted and what research we could get out of it. So we did our own research after that, and then we chose our final idea. So now I want to ask you, now I want to ask you, which idea did we choose? So can I get some hands from the audience, please? Anyone want to, anyone want to take a guess? This is, I don't know what's happening. You can just like shout it out.
Yeah, I would just say unmute if you raise your hand.
I guess natural hair care.
Okay. Do we have one more guess?
PC building.
Oh, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little drum roll. And we chose the natural hair care, so Afnan was right.
Okay, so this was actually my idea. If I'm being quite honest, when I was figuring out problem statements, I was thinking about myself. I have natural hair. I range somewhere in the sort of 4A, 4B, so my hair is super, super curly. And so when we're looking at why we chose this, it was mainly just because it was super practical. A lot of people could use a sort of application like this. A lot of my team members sort of had a really personal connection and experience with hair care. I know my mother, she had locks for about 20 years. She recently cut them about 2 years ago. And so her hair has been growing out in a bit of a fro. And she, for the first time in a couple decades, sort of has to deal with like loose curly hair. And so when I was talking to her about my problem statements, she also gave me a lot of input. And I thought of this as something she might also like. So you can see my problem statement over here. Basically what it says is that hair care products are super expensive. There's a lot of hair care information out there, and there isn't necessarily a platform out there that gives personalized information. I know YouTube exists, I know hair blogs exist, but they are not personal. And I think that was a real issue. Okay, so when I was sort of going through the process of seeing, I know I personally wanted this application and seeing if other people wanted it. I originally sent out cold emails. I sent it out to businesses, well, small businesses in the Philadelphia area. I sent it out to small like hair care YouTubers that I personally follow. I sent it out to random people. I got a grand total of 0 responses. So I sort of had to pivot. I sort of had to realize, okay, how can I fix this? And then I came up with a Google form seen on the screen. I asked a bunch of questions and I sent it out on my Instagram. I got a bunch of random responses back. And sort of that's how I fine-tuned this user persona you see here. So this is Bob. Bob is 22 and in college, and he enjoys long walks on the beach, but he also has curly hair, dry frizzy curly hair to be exact. And so that's a issue he really wants to rectify. And he really has an issue with products being expensive, because college students tend to be incredibly broke, because tuition, especially Drexel tuition, is incredibly expensive. And then you have sort of Bob's goals. What does he want to get out of it? And so he really wants to be able to compare hair care prices, well, hair product prices, without having to go to 5 different stores. He wants to know more about his hair and sort of have a more personal relationship with it.
Enter Soul Hair. It's an app that offers a lot in terms of whoever you are, and its flexibility really shines through in different circumstances that might surround the personal hair care journey. That's the app that we made and designed, and we prototyped together, and you'll see more about it as we go on. Don't know much about, so there's a lot of like things it targets, and our main goals is to make it informational, flexible, personalized, and friendly. And I think in terms of branding and just the design of everything, we kind of achieved that. And we wanted to touch on some pain points, like for an example, don't know much about hair? Our resources page provides everything you need to know. Don't know much about your own hair? We have a diagnostic quiz that provides that, and also the rest of the app kind of just recommends you products and like different ways to care for your hair that you might not have known. And our slogan is literally just to give our app a whirl so we can take care of your curls. We made our brand kind of like recognizable and solar or soul hair themed with the use of colors and the layout and the friendly perception of the app that we want, especially because it's catered towards people that might be new to the entire complicated, entangled process of the curly hair care. So look at our wireframe, and you'll notice that we alternated between different sections by colors and images. It's the wireframe is the thing on the left, it's the one in the black and white, and that's our first step of making just this app. And I kind of created a certain flow with the alternation of the colors, and it also kind of works in tandem with the design that makes it feel more natural and approachable and believable, and not resemble anything like those 2000 websites that try to scam you of your personal information that my older brother had to save me from, you know, the usual. And judging from our user interviews and research, we did actually achieve that goal in the end. So very proud of us. And on the right side, you can also see portions of our mock-up and an example of like our prototyping in the middle. Some things that we had to prototype were like selecting buttons, which is much more time consuming than you'd expect. And also a range slider, which is like that little screenshot with like the shampoo it says shampoo on it. That is much more complicated than you'd expect. In case you're curious on what prototyping that looks like, it's the picture underneath, all the purple things. One line is a single interaction, so you can imagine how fun it was to make that. But you'll see how it actually works in the demo. I'm gonna post the link in the chat right now so you can actually look through what it looks like with us. And feel free to browse through at your own pace, or just browse through with Anshika and me as we introduce how it works. Here it is. There's a little loading screen with Team Kermit frog hair thing, and we are very proud of that. It's very cute and representative of us. But anyways, so keep in mind that Figma kind of has a lot of limitations in terms of prototyping. So it's not really like a fully functional app. You can't really type things, but there's enough of basics that kind of give like the general vibes of what we're going for. And Anshika's scrolling through like the sign up screen right now. You can scroll through at your own pace as well. But once you click on the sign up button, it just takes you to like the intro of the quiz, and you hit the let's begin. And then you get to just kind of interact with like the different buttons that we have for the quiz. And this is a diagnostic quiz to just help us know kind of what kind of hair you have and let the program know just how to help you, what products to recommend, etc. And like I said, a huge part of our app is just the personalization of it. So by the time you're done with it, we have a lot of like questions of just like what kind of hair you have, what you're trying to achieve. So as Anshika navigates through it, you can navigate through as well on your own pace again. But towards the end of it, you'll start to see just how much we offer, Soul Hair offers. And as we go to the third page, you can also see my fancy sliders. I'm very proud of those. And then once you're done adjusting whatever budget you have, you can hit see results. That is kind of, it shows kind of a user profile, like a generic one, because again, Figma limitations, but it kind of also gives like the general vibes of what we're going for with the app. And just, if you want to explore more, the full app is actually just built out and prototyped. So we're not going to walk you through the rest of it, but Anchika can show off a little bit about our other pages. Like our resources page that I mentioned earlier, we actually have a forum that you might have seen in one of our screenshots with one thread that actually does work, like it's clickable. And we also have like a recommended product section, and all of this kind of comes together to make an app that feels very personal and useful and just unique in its own way that we're all proud of making together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just sort of walking you guys through. So this is the forum that Jocelyn was talking about. This is like an example of what one would look like. We have our sort of editing your quiz answers. If you want to change what they were, if you want to save them, as well as kind of saving your profile. We have little Alex over here. This is like a wish list page. So yeah. Okay. So, well, there were some issues with the project before we finalized our project, we wanted to make sure that this could be usable. So before you guys got it to test the demo, we had some usability testing done. So the heuristic analysis methodology is essentially having people, when they test your product, sort of asking them sort of questions that reach these things. So I would ask someone to walk me through their process of going through the prototype. So we had like a home page, and then like I would ask them questions like, can you walk me through this, or can you figure out how to click on this? And each of the questions would be centered towards one of these statements and making sure that that person can do that. And so we took the target audience of people who we knew who struggled with curly and natural hair. So we had Genesis, Adriana, and Cher, 3 people that we all personally knew who had curly hair and struggled with it, take the test. And after going through these tests, we realized that we wanted to add a slider option, as you saw that Jocelyn made. We wanted an option to restart the quiz, also add some photos. So you can actually swipe through the photos on the top where it says like, hi, Alex, this is your hair type, as well as having a diagram explaining porosity. When we have the porosity question in the front, a lot of people had mentioned that other people might not know, or they might not know what porosity is. So having that diagram helps people figure out what that is and have a more accurate quiz.